All right, well, we're back for the 5th episode, and we've actually recorded this first part twice because I didn't press record the first time. But and we've had plenty of technical difficulties, but here we are with Josh Button, and he's made the road from privateer to pro, and now back to privateer. And Josh, how are you going down there in Coffs Harbour, Australia?
I'm going good, Win. It's good to see you, mate.
For a second round?
Yeah, try again.
Yeah. How's it all been going down there with the current situation?
Yeah, everyone's in the same boat, like I said before, and I'm just sort of making the most of it and kicking off some chores around the house.
Yeah.
While I'm away racing and spending my money elsewhere.
Yeah. There's a bit of a noise in your background. I don't know if it's coming from a table or something.
Oh, okay, I'm tapping.
Yeah, no tapping. Yeah, no tapping, please. But where did it all start in mountain biking for you?
Mountain biking for me, I remember my mum had a boyfriend when I was maybe 9 or 10, and he had a really sweet mountain bike. I think it was called an Apollo.
Oh,
or something like
Apollo. Yeah, I remember a few Apollos back in the day. Eh?
Yeah, I thought it was unreal. Like, the thing looked mean.
Yeah.
And that just sort of like got me intrigued. I was always riding bikes and BMX and moto and stuff like that as a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, seeing that mountain bike, was pretty keen to try this mountain bike thing. And got a few Kmart bikes from then, I think, just like cheap shitters.
Yeah.
And then when I was 15, I saved my money and had a bit of help from the parents and bought a proper mountain bike, a Norco Atomic.
Yeah, nice. It's pretty funny how as someone having a cool bike can influence you so much when you're 9 or 10. I think one of our cousins had an old mountain bike, and it was actually spray painted, and me and Eddie used to think it was so cool, but it was probably pretty bad at the time.
Yeah, I think that's how everyone's drawn in.
Yeah.
All guys, yeah.
And then you started racing around 15, and how did that all kick off for you?
Yeah, just saw a local club round. Well, it's not local for me, but just a few hours away. They do these club rounds every month, and thought I'd try downhill. And took my new Norco Atomic down there, and I was just all pumped up, and didn't realise that for the last few weeks that I'd had the bike, I've been over tightening the pinch bolts on the front axle.
Oh.
So you do like
so it was stripped.
And then 2 pinch bolts.
Yeah.
No, stripped. So they had like this flap that would hold the axle on. Anyway, the day of the race, I did a bit of practice on the Saturday, and the day of the race, I put my wheel in, got out of the car, put my front wheel in, and I snapped the flaps.
Yeah.
So the axle would just sort of slide through, and there was nothing holding the axle in the fork. So I had to get a couple of industrial zip ties and.
Oh, just zip tie the axle in the forks.
The big 10mm zip ties.
Yeah.
And then, put a couple on there and ended up racing on it, and it held up all day.
Yeah.
I was pretty lucky.
It's pretty funny, some of the stuff you'd run back in the day. Like it was fine, but there's no way you could even ride with a loose front wheel now. Like your wheel would be flexing side to side.
Yeah.
And then from there, like you kept doing the local series, or?
Yeah, I think from then I tried a state round a couple months later and got absolutely smoked by those boys. But that was sort of when I just started loving it. Like, I just wanted to do every race I could, so I just continued on doing a few of the New South Wales state rounds and state championships, and I think it was by the end of 2005, I was still 15, going on 16. They had a national an Aussie national in Tasmania, and I think I got a trip down there for my birthday as I was turning 16, and went down there and raced, and actually did a lot better than I thought. So.
Really? Yeah, I think I went to that race because they had 4-cross as well.
Yeah, that was. I'm pretty sure I was walking the track, and that's where I bumped into you, maybe.
Yeah.
05.
Yeah.
Near the rock garden, that weird rock garden.
It was a pretty hard track too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had a big. I did 4-cross as well,
Yeah, that four-cross track was pretty sweet.
Yeah, and I think, what was the old? It might have been the Aussie Mountain Bike Forum. Might have been Farkin.
Barking, yeah.
Yeah.
.net.
So I met some guy on Farkin, and I was staying at his house.
Oh. Oh, that's a standard issue for you.
Yeah, that's how I'd arrange things. And I just came over. I was like, I'll do this race. So I flew over with 2 bikes and met the guy from Farkin, and then he's actually a real good dude. Yeah. So
Yeah, that was a sick race.
it was pretty fun. It was a fun week in Hobart. It's a good place actually.
I think I entered for under 17s and thought I was in under 17s because I was turning 17 the next year.
Yeah.
They bumped me up to 19s or something, but I didn't find out until the day of the race. So I'm shitting myself racing in under 17s, and then I get told I'm
Under
versus,
90.
I think Chris Coombs and maybe Maltman and stuff were there,
Yeah,
and Joel
yeah.
Bain.
Yeah.
Yeah, racing those dudes, and I'm just like, fuck, just way out of my comfort zone, eh?
Yeah, but that probably was pretty good for you, because then if you'd have done all right, you would have been pretty confident after that.
Yeah, I somehow ended up 5th. I'm like, this
Oh, sick! And
piece of shit.
they
Oh,
did
yeah.
they did 5 people podiums then at that race?
Like 3-man podium.
Oh, gutted.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the podium would have probably put you over the edge, eh?
Yeah.
But that would have definitely got your confidence going, and then you did a lot more nationals after that.
Yeah, well then I did the next national in Thredbo and tried to race 4-cross and broke my collarbone. So that pretty much wiped out that whole national season, because they're only pretty short over here.
Yeah.
And then I think I broke my collarbone like as soon as I got back riding again. So that was the whole next 6 months. I was just 2 broken collarbones. So that sort of a race that started 2006.
Yeah. And then in the junior class you started doing pretty good, or?
Yes. So that following season was my second year juniors, and that was when I sort of figured things out and was crashing a little less, and that's when Scotty Sharples and Paul Begg sort of came to me, and the whole world's team sort of came to fruition.
How did that all work out? So you did some good results, and they came and hit you up if you want to come with them, and how did they? Did you have to finance that yourself, or how did that work out?
Yeah, it was all financed by us. Obviously with racing you get to meet a few people, so I got real close to Will Rishbeth and Mitch Delfs and Bain and all those boys, and with a few good results, and we sort of Mitch and I will talk together, and we're pretty keen to go to a few races before Worlds, do like a bit of a pre-Europe trip.
Yep.
And so once the selection came out, like early 2007 it might have been, then I did a heap of fundraising. Like my parents cooked up a big barbecue at the local race up here and raised money that way. And I had I was working at Hungry Jack's at the time.
Hungry Jack's.
The local Hungry Jack's sponsored me, gave me $1,000.
Oh, sick!
Just like my whole community came together and gave me just helped me out, helped me get over there.
Yeah.
So I was pretty fortunate. Yeah.
And then Begsy and Scott Sharples were in charge of the team.
Yeah, so they were running the junior program.
Yeah.
I think there was 7 of us that were selected, or it was 7, might have been 8, maybe.
Yeah. Who were the riders? Because it was a pretty good bunch, eh?
Yeah, it was a sick bunch. A lot of fast riders. It was Joel Bain, Mitch Delfs, Will Rishbeth, James Maltman, myself.
Tom Patton.
Patton.
Yeah.
He was he was the first year, so it was Patton, and then it was Dave Hetherington, some other guy from down south.
Sick.
So yeah, it was a pretty sick year. We had some good times.
It looked pretty funny, the crew you had with all the haircuts and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just cruised around in a van, and Will had some family over in Geneva and around Switzerland way, so we had a few places to stay, and we spent a bit of time racing, doing like the European Cups and heading up to bike parks like Verbier and stuff like that, and just hanging around.
Yeah,
it was pretty good.
Well, and Scotty and Begsy would look after you.
Yeah, so Scotty was running the BMX team at the time for the Olympics.
Yep,
I'm pretty sure. So he was flat out with that. So Begsy sort of took us under his wing, and he was at the helm for the whole trip. So if you'd met Begsy before, his character. So yeah,
he's a legend. Paul Begg. He used to be a pro racer himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he has the experience.
What did he race in Europe when he was racing? He must have.
Yeah.
Or more America, right?
Yeah, it would have been America at that time. Yep. Him and Scotty.
But he would have been a good guy to take you guys under his wing and show you the ropes.
Yeah, he was a classic, and we had a meal, and like Mick Hanna and Rando, I think, come out, and they would stay with us quite a bit, and they're a good influence too, so they would always make it pretty fun.
Yeah, that would have been sick. That's pretty cool that Mick, Emil, and Jared Rando come and stay with you and teach you. You'd learn quite a lot at that age as well.
Yeah.
Even if you think you're not, you just pick up so much and get way more confident from riding with those guys. Yeah,
for sure.
So that would have been probably big help for later on.
Yeah, I reckon for sure.
Yeah, and it's a shame Emil didn't keep racing, I think.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
He was like one of the I don't know, the best Aussie riders at that time. And then
such a talented person. Even now, I haven't seen him ride for a while, but I hear stories that he can still just rip.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised. And probably I heard on the moto as well, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, that's a shame. But on to that, you would have done plenty of races around Europe that year. They didn't have junior classes then, though, I don't think.
No, we were still racing. Yeah, just one male category.
So you just show up and line up for the Elite World Cups.
Yeah.
How was that? How was that at the first World Cup for you?
Well, I think we only did like some European Cups, and I think Delcy and Maltman and Joel Bain, they did a few of the Canadian World Cups before World Champs, but we never got to do an actual World Cup.
Oh, sweet.
So we did our World Champs. We all shat the bed.
Typical junior.
Dreams were just shattered. It was like it was the end of the world.
Of course.
And then we went to Maribor the week after Worlds to do that World Cup.
Oh, yeah. Sweet.
And I fucking ended up on my head 2 or 3 times. So it was just like the gnarliest pressure that you could ever imagine.
Yeah, well, I don't know. When you're like 16 or 17, you don't even understand that there's more than bikes in your life.
Nah, and it's like it was so hyped up that like you because I was second year junior, it was just like this is the only chance you have. Like there's so much pressure on myself. I just put it on myself, and
it's not coming from anywhere else. It's just all on yourself, and you think that you have to do this crazy run to win the race or something.
Yeah.
So you go into the start gate like with that mindset.
Yeah.
And probably so nervous, especially over in Europe, like with just that many more spectators and everything.
Yeah.
I think that's like the hardest thing when you're going from Australia or New Zealand to racing in Europe is like not getting too excited.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then you went back after that season, or have you got any stories from that travelling with that crew? There must be some good ones.
I've got the worst memory, so I probably won't be able to pick one.
You've had a few knocks on the probably the same as me.
There was a couple, but I probably over them a bit later.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if we can dig them out. But I'm pretty sure with that crew there would have been a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then from there you went back to Australia, and your goal was to race World Cups the next year, or what was your plan from there?
Just a taste. I was all fired up, ready to go again.
Yeah.
So I came home and I moved down to Sydney, to where my old man lives, and and just started labouring for a builder and saving my money and getting to all the races.
Yeah.
And then Will and I were really good mates at that time. Oh, we still are now, but we got real close from the season previous. So we figured out a plan that we could go tripping and do like a 3-month stint in Europe with 2 bikes in a bag, but only use public transport and scab lifts and something sort of like what you used to do, I guess.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah. So you guys went over with no van or anything as well.
2008 we just.
Oh, and you're too young, eh?
2 bikes. Yeah. Yeah, we were only 17, 18 at the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, we did 3 months. I think we did like 4 or 5 maybe 4 World Cups.
Yeah.
And just a heap of like Europe races, and we ducked over to America because we had a couple of weeks off when we went into the US Open for a week and then came back, and it was just like, it was so full on.
Yeah, that would have been a hell of a learning experience, because the year before with those other guys helping you, I think you don't realise when you're like young that how much they actually do behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And then just thrown in the deep end and try and do it yourself is a good challenge, eh?
Yeah, it's definitely I definitely had to grow up and mature and all that sort of stuff. I did think of a story.
All right, here we go.
Just picturing traveling with 2 bike boxes and a bag, and it was the year before with all the juniors after we were coming back from Maribor, and everyone had crashed or done pretty shit, so we were all pretty bummed. And we got a taxi back to the train station, and we had to catch a 3-hour train to Vienna, I think.
Yeah. And
then we did that over through the night. Got to Vienna at 1 a.m. and we had to wait for 12 hours or something until our flight left. So we had, obviously you pay €2 and you get your little airport trolley.
Yeah.
And we had 2 of them each. I think there was 6 or 7 of us, so we had quite a lot of trolleys. And we laid our bikes on the floor and we thought we'd get some sleep, so we slept on our bikes and left our trolleys sort of parked up just around us, had a little circle on the airport floor. And we all fell asleep, and we wake up early in the morning, and someone had grabbed all our trolleys and fed them into each other so that they get the €2. So
what? They'd stolen all your €2 coins.
So they stole €28.
Oh no!
Yeah. And pretty funny.
That at the time would have been quite a substantial amount.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I had Pagey on one of the last episodes, and he recalled the story when my bike got left in Maribor.
Oh, that was that. I'm pretty sure that was that same year.
No, that I think. Well, yeah, that was your first year with Will. When you and Will were together.
Oh, it was 2008.
Yeah, 8.
Yeah.
And
I
had to hitchhike back, but I had to then pay for my laundry, which was €20 at the hotel, and I was like, it was a hotel I wasn't staying at, but I asked him to do the laundry, and I was thinking, oh yeah, it'll be no problem, €5 or something. And then the bill came, it was 20, and I was like, what? That's like $40. Or maybe even more, You couldn't believe it, But it's so good to learn how to do it that cheap, I reckon.
Yeah, sure.
And just to travel like that. But so that 2008, you were traveling with Will, and you guys just flew over, and pretty much winged it, similar to me.
Yep. Yeah, that was it. We caught up with Beggsy he was running the junior program again, with this sort of new generation that are coming through, I guess.
Yeah.
And spent a bit of time with him, and Will and I were sort of fighting for the last spot on the Worlds team, and Will got it. Like they only announced the last, I think it might have been a reserve or something, but yeah, they announced it like a week before, so we all ended up in Val d'Isole for Worlds that year.
Yeah.
And Will ended up racing, and I was just a track sweep, which was pretty sick.
Oh, you got track sweep.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, that was one of the coolest events I've been to when Sam laid that rundown.
oh yeah, unreal.
Yeah, I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just watching it now is like ridiculous.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane.
The speed like through some of that steep stuff is just like you can't even believe it, after watching everyone else ride down and then seeing that and then crashing in the last corner.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I first arrived in Portugal, and I didn't really have much of a plan. I was pretty you're lucky you were with Will because you at least have someone to talk to. I was pretty lonely, like just arrived, met this Portuguese dude that Mike Skinner. He knew one Portuguese guy, so he just put me in contact with him, and then I just flew to Portugal in March and started the season there.
Wow.
And I was like, shit, well, here we go. It's like, once you're there, like, it's a different world for sure when you've been used to New Zealand or Australia.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, and then you and Will would travel around, and Will started making the WRTV videos.
Yeah, that was the following year. So we did that 3-month stint, and
Did you have some good results in the 2008?
I started to figure it out. I think I got like 23rd in Andorra, and then a week later in Fort Bill I was the 25th or something like that.
Yeah.
So I fully started to figure it out, but I was just that tiny bit behind. The top 20 was sort of where I wanted to be.
And you're on the mongoose too.
Yeah, I was on that little mongoose thing.
Yeah. Imagine riding those tracks on that now, eh?
Oh, dude, I don't know how we did it. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
I was so small.
Yeah. And I listened to a podcast with Needles the other day, and he was talking about how when he rode that bike, it just didn't really work. But
yeah, it's pretty tough. It was alright at home, like back here, but when you get to somewhere like Fort Bill or like a rough Andorra, it's just like, I don't know how I hung onto it.
You just get thrown everywhere. It's lucky that the sport, I think it's lucky for us that we came in at that time, because I reckon it was cooler then. The tracks, and there's like, the sport wasn't at such a high level that it is now, like where everyone has like data loggers on their bikes and all this stuff, Yeah. So you could do it easier as a privateer?
Yeah. The thing I sort of missed, well, we sort of got the end of it, but it was like, do you remember all the dirt videos that had like King of the Pits and stuff like that, where everyone would fuck around in the pits and cruise around in hardtails and stuff like that? Yeah, you don't get that much of that anymore.
Nah, it's a bit more serious now.
Yeah, or even like you and Brooke racing four-cross at Maribor.
Yeah, we were like, everyone used to do downhill. Downhillers used to always do four-cross, and then we were on the tail end of that. They'd already stopped doing it, and we just like, we may as well try. And Ancelotti had a four-cross bike, so we were like, yeah, we'll do it.
That thing was sick, bro.
It was a cool bike, yeah. I've got one at home.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I kept it, and it's hanging up on the wall at home.
Yeah, that's mad.
I actually had to buy it back just a couple of years ago, but the guy from Tommaso from Ancelotti, he asked me if I wanted my old four-cross bike, and I was like, yep, shit, yeah. It's a good one to have on the wall, eh?
Yeah.
But it was cool times then, like, just quite different to now, I think.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
like
he's
a
lot
bit,
less serious.
yeah, a bit more fun, eh?
Yeah.
Now it's still definitely fun, but it's a lot more professional and there's a lot more going into it. It seems, or something like.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 2009, you and Will travelled around, and Will's making his videos, which I quite enjoyed, eh?
Yeah. So we got. His auntie had a van that she wasn't using that year, so we went over earlier in might have been April or something like that, and we were there for 6 or 7 months. So we planned to do everything we could, and we had our own van so we could cruise around. We built these little bunk beds in the back. They were I think about 500 wide. So it was just so narrow. They were above each other, and then we had this little kitchen that we made, and then Will started filming those WRTV videos, which is like the vlog before vlogs.
Yeah, if only that was it kept going, eh? Because now vlogs are like the thing.
Huge, yeah. Like millions.
Yeah, and it would have been like the OG vlog.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty sick. It was just us cruising around, racing pretty much every weekend for 6 or 7 months. We did a stint to Bromont that year, I think, for a month, and caught up with Delcy, and that's when I met Matty DePel, who was running the what was Delcy riding then? Might have been riding Tomac.
Oh yeah, he was on the Tomac maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was 08, 09 maybe.
Yeah, well, that was nearly the end. I don't know. Oh no, he did a couple more years, but he was another rider that kind of went away a bit early.
Yeah.
He didn't like the training part.
Nah.
But insane skills.
Yeah, he's so talented on a bike. Insane.
He just liked surfing.
Yeah. Surfing and partying.
Yeah, he was a bit of a party animal, eh? Yeah.
Yeah. So that was our 09. That was when we did pretty much every race we could. I think we got just about every World Cup in. Even South Africa, we went there first, I reckon.
Oh yeah, and I think I was there with you in South Africa, because right before South Africa was Oceanias and Threadbow.
Oh, Threadbow, and you won it?
I got second to Jared just. I think. It might have been just looking back, but it probably was a big margin now.
Yeah, it was you. It was Jared, you, and then me, I reckon.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And I just got my first Ancelotti bike, so it was like bits and pieces, kind of.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I think I flew from there to South Africa.
Yeah,
to do a South African national race.
They had that national race the week before, 2 weeks before, in the mud, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was wet.
Yeah.
And it was treacherous.
Mm.
That was like probably one track you don't want to ride in the wet.
Nah, that mud's fucked up. That's Cairns mud, or even worse, maybe.
Yeah, I think maybe even worse. It was like up there with the Cairns mud. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember I was staying with some people that Brooke's family knew or something, and we borrowed their bikes, remember? I think, and went riding with Will.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Borrowed their old mountain bikes and went for a cross country ride. But yeah, that was a good year actually, 2009.
Yeah, because we got to see you guys heap when you were travelling around with Tomasa.
Yeah. So we'd pretty much end up at all the same races, and we'd always be staying in the pits as well, because Tommaso we'd just stay in the camper van with the whole family.
Yeah.
It was quite the setup as well for a team, but
yeah,
it was good because then we'd always hang out with you guys.
Yeah, it was sick.
And actually, you get more memories from the years when you do it like that.
Oh, for sure.
Than like the pro team and everything's all managed, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you got a couple of good results in 2009 that would have possibly set you up for more and go on to bigger things, or?
Yeah, I can't really.
I think I found one the other day. I was looking, and you got fourth at the Garbanzo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think.
No. At the Canadian Open, yeah, with some top riders, eh? All the good riders did it.
Sam, Brendan, and Stevie. Or Sam, Stevie, and Brendan, and then me.
Yeah.
I think I had like 2 top 25 World Cups, and then that race I did really well. And there's a couple in there. I think I had an injury through the middle. I had hurt my thumb or tore a ligament in my thumb. Other than that, it was a pretty good year.
Yeah.
I was just like still just fueling the fire and sort of wasn't happy with what I'd accomplished, so I was ready to go again the next year.
Yeah, and then that next year, didn't you change to a team or?
Yeah, that's when I got on Kona.
Yeah. So how did that work out?
Just through the Australian distributor who I deal with now.
Oh, is it Ty?
Ty, yeah.
Yeah, old Ty, yeah.
Yeah.
So
you're speaking with him.
He's still doing it.
Through him, yeah.
Sweet.
And then he got me in touch with the overseas guys, and Joe Smith was signing with them that year. So I got a bike through them and flew over to Wales and lived with Joe Smith for was going to be the season, which was sick because there's so much riding in Wales, and I got to meet like the Athertons and Al Bond and a few other boys around there, Matt Simmons and stuff like that. So I got to ride with some real good dudes, and that was like really good for me because I've never done that much actual riding. I'm sort of just like
just go to a race, eh?
Yeah, we'll go to a race. So it was sick to ride through the week and have a bit of direction when it came to training and stuff with Joe and the other boys.
So.
And then I tweaked my knee at a Welsh Cup or something.
Yeah.
And that was I'm pretty sure that was the end of that year. I got surgery over there and then ended up flying home.
Shit.
So I missed the rest of that season, yeah.
But then 2011, you already moved on to suspension centre?
Yep, so I had nothing planned and I was just sitting at home with a knee reco and didn't really know what I was going to do. And then Gary Pierre from Suspension Centre just emailed me and just said, what are your plans for next year? And sort of gave me this deal, and it was too good to say no. So, got back on the bike and started riding for Suspension Centre in Tenth. And went straight over there to South Africa and met like Flo Payet and Lars Pierre and Bostan Figueroa and just like some of my real good mates to this day. Travel with them for a couple of years. Yeah,
Flo's the mad dog.
Yeah, such a legend.
Yeah, and it's pretty underrated as some of the stuff he does on his bike. Yeah. Like, sometimes at the World Cup, he's like the only one doing some of the gaps.
Just some big gap or big hop.
Just gnarly, eh?
Yeah, he's an animal. He's such a good dude. I just when I first saw him, I guess I just thought he was like just a French.
Yes, same with me, because he was with Fabian on that Mondraker.
Yeah. Hey, do you know who else I just saw someone's name on Instagram? Do you remember that Oriel and Giordinengo dude?
Oh yeah, with the super, always the slick hair and the bleached, I think.
Yeah, and the shoulders about this wide.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, I saw a photo of him on the gram. He was crashing or something. Completely forgot him.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of him for a while, but he was actually quite fast sometimes too. Yeah. But yeah, I thought of Flo the same as being like until you meet him, you don't really understand, and then you think he's just the same as the other guys, or like not going to get much out of him.
Yeah. And then you find out he's a and he's just real laid back and such a nice guy.
Yeah, from Reunion Island.
Yeah.
Of all places.
Yeah. So that year was really good. Like, did a heap of time I was based in Switzerland. Did all the races, I reckon. Body felt pretty good, and I sort of like riding with Flo and the other boys. I found a bit of pace, and I was doing really good in all the IXS cups. Like, I would be top 3 at every European Cup.
Yep.
And I was making good money out of them. And whenever I come to a World Cup, I would like sort of put too much pressure on myself still, and wouldn't be up there as much as I should be. But I felt like I could go to a European Cup and beat like a lot of the top 10 World Cup guys, and then go to a World Cup and I just sort of shit the bed and end up top 30.
Yeah.
So that was pretty frustrating, but I was definitely riding really well.
Sweet. That team was a pretty good setup with they're a suspension company, so they probably had your bikes pretty dialed in as well.
Yeah, he had some cool stuff that he did for our bikes, and we're pretty fortunate that they looked after me. Like, I lived in their house for 6 months, so Gary and Susan were very, very helpful, and I can't thank them enough for those 2 years.
And
I felt like at the end of that year at Val d'Isole, like, Flo and I were on really good runs, and I think I qualified 13th, and he qualified like 10th or something.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting a front flat on the last straight or the last steep section.
Oh, I think I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, and the same last section, Flo ended up crashing on that last right-hander.
Oh.
Before the so we both just like threw it away. But that sort of gave me a heap of confidence.
Yeah.
And now I was leading into Chambéry, which was world champs that year.
Yep.
So I was feeling real good for that, and sort of knew that track would suit me, being a smaller rider. And family came over, and it was all good to go.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if many people know, but if you are a part of a federation, no matter what country you're in, you can pretty much race world champs if they enter you.
Yeah.
And we're a World Cup, obviously you have to qualify to get into the race.
Yeah.
So some guy in like 3rd day practice like binned it in front of me on that turn that Sam crashed, that right-hander.
Yeah.
In 07 it might have been.
Yeah.
And so I come over that crest and saw him like just face down in the middle of the track, and that, you know what that dirt's like as well in the wet.
You can't slow down.
Brake and just had the biggest hugie, and ended up tearing my knee and doing my ACL and meniscus and everything again.
Oh, in the same one?
Yeah, same one.
And almost a crash that's not even your fault too.
Yeah,
that would have been a pretty painful one to swallow at that time, especially when you're on that form. Yeah,
feeling good. Finally, like, sort of figured it out, I guess, and then everyone come over to watch, and that happens. I was pretty sour.
Yeah, shit. And it would have been some guy from like Kazakhstan or something that was on the track.
I fucking swear to God, it was like Kazakhstan or somewhere.
Yeah.
Never ridden a decent track, and then they get thrown into Chambéry, which is just fucking deadly.
And there's no way they could get out of the way either. Like the poor guy as well. Like, took you out, destroyed your season, and he's trying to ride down Chambéry. Like, imagine showing up. You're like, it's probably your first ever big race, and you get sent from Kazakhstan to Chambéry. And your bike's probably got like 2000 model tires or something on it, you know, like he was in the deep end as well, but shit, that would have been tough. How was the rehab from that? It would have been pretty long.
Yeah, that was so that would have been in September. I had to miss, I think they ran South Africa again in 2012.
Yeah.
So I had to sit that out because I didn't come good until I think it was May.
Oh, yeah. Shit. So
So,
it's quite long.
yeah. So yeah, I just did all the rehab and all that stuff you got to do, and then had another swing, 2012. But I sort of felt myself getting like pretty, especially after that crash, I was getting pretty like burnt out, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. From the injuries.
Constantly hurting myself and sort of spending all my money and spending other people's money and not doing good, and yeah, it's pretty frustrating.
I think sometimes you feel like when you're coming in that the other guys are putting in their money, that you feel like too much pressure from that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And then when you look back, it didn't really matter. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't that much for them, and you were doing good for them. Actually, like even if you got top 30 every race, you're killing it.
Yeah, that's true.
But at the time, you're like, "Fuck, top 30 is shit."
Yeah.
You're like pissed off, because you're always striving for better. But it's pretty hard to like justify what's a good result. I think, it's tough.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so much. Just having speaking to a few mates and sort of from their perspective looking in, there's just so much disappointment in like downhill racing because there might only be like say a handful of guys in the whole 80 or 60 whoever qualify that are actually happy with their day.
Yeah, like very small amount.
Everyone else is just like so bummed out. Yeah,
I think because there's just so many variables. Like everything is a variable in downhill, and compared to another sport where it's like the variables are a lot more easier to control.
Yeah, for sure.
And then it's so mental that every day you've got a different mindset. Like you don't wake up the same every day, and it's only those top guys that can do that. Like put that race mindset on and just get in the zone and do that run every race. Like
no matter the conditions or the track or it's pretty incredible.
There's like very few races where I feel like I could actually do that.
Yeah.
Like only a handful, and then you know that it was a good race because you almost like just reacted rather than thought about what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's so hard to do that. If only we knew how to.
I know. You're killing it.
Yeah. But so 2012, your season went alright, or once you came back?
Fuck, I can't even really remember.
Or you were kind of over it?
No,
you're still loving it.
Yeah, I was still loving it. I think I was. I started off actually really good I did like a European Cup at Leo Gang. Actually, that was a pretty good. Yeah, I remember. Because that was the year Leo Gang had world champs, so we did an IXS Cup early, and then I did really good in there. I think I was top 5 or top 4, and all the big dogs were there.
Yep.
And went to Val di Sole for a World Cup, and that was actually where I started feeling like I was sort of back on form, and I actually felt confident enough that I could be in the top 20, like pretty, not easily, but I could definitely be in there.
Yep.
And I qualified 17th or something, and then just had just the pressure had got to me, and in the race run I ended up 24th, like just the second or whatever it was.
Out of the right.
Not attacking enough, like that. But I had a few good results. I think I ended up cracking the top 20 in Wyndham. I got 19th.
Yep.
And the IXS Cups, I think I was doing really, really well in, and actually probably one of the best years I've ever ridden, like in terms of my ability, and maybe I was a little bit fitter and stuff.
Yep.
And we came into Leo Gang World Champs, and I remember doing a warm up with Jared Rando. He was there coaching. I think he was taking on the juniors a little bit then.
Yep.
So I got him to help me with a warm up, and that was like the first time that I think I'd properly done a warm up, like with like all this dynamic hopping and like, jogging around and actually getting on the trainer and doing like a little sort of spike my heart rate a little. And I remember I was nervous as fuck, but I remember getting in the gate and I was actually like ready
to ride.
pedal. I was, already warm, and I had a pretty sick run. I had one big mistake off the track sort of thing, but the rest of it was like really good. I ended up 20th, so I was pretty happy with that.
Sick.
And all the Aussies, I think all the Aussies were in top 22 or something like that. So we had a whole team.
Killed it.
In the top 22, which was pretty sick, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we went to Norway, and I think I had a crash in Norway or something like that, and just getting a bit burnt out and sort of go through the stage where you think, what should I do next? Like, I'm not going to make much money out of this. Should I get a career going? And that was sort of running through my head. And to be honest, I was like pretty like over living in Europe for 6 months because that place like takes it out of you. So yeah, I was sort of a bit over it by then, a bit burnt out. Yeah.
So then you went home and kind of reassessed what to do.
Yeah, I went home and I got a job, like a really good job, and started doing like a Cert 4 in road construction, and sort of decided to figure out my career and what what skills I need to learn so I can make some actual money.
Yeah.
And got into earth moving.
Yeah. Which is what you do now?
Which is what I do now, yeah.
You drive a digger or a machine?
Yeah, I got a little 5.5 ton digger and a little posi track.
Right.
And
just, now you're running your own business from that?
Yeah, like just like sort of my boss and myself just sort of cruise around and do our own thing.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And so you did like quite a few years of just working and doing maybe just Australian racing, or?
Yeah, 2013. I don't think I might have touched a bike for national champs.
Yeah.
And I think I got like 14th or something like that.
Yeah.
It was horrible. I was so embarrassed.
Especially probably after like being almost 14th in the World Cup.
Yeah.
to then national champs, you know.
Yeah. I thought I put down a heater and I was 14th. I was like, pretty tough to swallow. So I think the whole 2013, the rest of that year, I didn't touch a bike. And then 2014, I started getting the itch again.
Yeah.
And I spoke to Giant Australia, and they looked after me with bike. And just started, same sort of thing, started doing like a local race and then move up to a national series. Did quite well, and that sort of moved over to 2015.
Yeah.
And that was when I sort of started taking it a little bit more serious.
But just on the Australian level, or?
Yeah, on the Australian. Actually, the 2014 was when we had the first Cairns World Cup, I think.
Yeah.
Was it 14?
Yeah, 14, yeah.
Yeah. So I think I tried to get ready for that.
I see. You got 75th in the race. Well, there we go. It was, wasn't it? It was real muddy.
Yeah, man, it was gnarly, and like, I was definitely out of my league again.
Yeah.
But I remember sitting there and watching all the Brits
killing
go through rocks and the off-camber routes in the mud, and I'm just like, fuck that. There's no way I can do that. Like,
no.
I was just away at how much I'd lost and the confidence I'd lost in those 2 years not riding as much.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a ride. I had a crash before my race run and got 7 stitches in my leg or in my knee or whatever, and I was just like in the worst headspace.
Especially for a mud race too, like where you still got to like kind of risk it a little bit, and you've got 7 stitches already. Starting up.
So I think I started behind what's his name? Dennis Bear, not Dennis Bear, his younger brother.
Oh, Jesse Bear.
Jesse Bear.
Yeah.
I started behind Jesse Bear.
Yeah.
And then he went and then I was obviously 30 seconds behind him, and he crashed in the rocks, so I overtook him there, and then I crashed in the that alien tree or whatever it was. So he overtook me, and then get further down, and he has a massive crash, and I overtake him again.
Oh, what?
And then there was another crash, and he got me back or something like that. It was like 3 times that we overtook each other.
Shit.
Yeah, so it was a mess that run.
Yeah, I remember that race was just a battle. What?
Yeah. It was so tough. I remember leaving that place just saying, like, just hating it, just thinking that was the shittest track, and just writing it off. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was so...
Yeah, in the qualifying, I think I passed Dean Lucas, and he qualified 48th. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. And Eddie qualified 4th, I think, at that one. He was on fire.
Yeah, he slayed it.
But then he ate shit in the race.
In the race.
He's at least figured most of that out now and seems to be holding it together, finally.
It's good. He did like doing that for a while, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he did quite a few years where he'd lay a qualifier down. And I think Nico Malali was on fire there. He got third with a big crash.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's one of the gnarliest riders when the conditions are like that. I don't know many other riders that are that gnarly in like wet rock gardens and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't even interest me to ride through that stuff, eh? It's just not enjoyable. But he just sends it. He's like from the east coast of US where it's all rocky and then it rains all the time. Yeah. So he likes riding that.
The West Open track was a lot like that. It's just like mossy, wet, like sharp sort of rock.
So hard to ride it.
Yeah, in the end, it's not like.
Yeah, but so then you left Cairns just hating the place and not wanting to come back.
Fuck that place. Fuck that track. Yeah, I just did not want to buy over there.
Yeah, and then in 2015 you did some races, or?
Yeah, so I think I might have had a couple months off, and then 2015, the national series, the following one I would have. Actually, no, that was when 2015 we got on the 27-inch wheels.
Oh yeah, the big step.
Yeah, and I remember like looking at I got another Giant Glory. They helped me out with it, and I remember looking at it, and it looked pretty sick. Like once you got used to the big wheels, I think it looked sick. And I built these big jumps with the digger up at my local track.
Yeah.
Just over the week, and it was like the second day of the 2015, and I had the biggest crash of my life, like by far, and I ended up breaking my back, and just like a hella concussion. But the jumps, it's called like the Executioner. I think Jack Moyer might have named it the Executioner.
The jump that you crashed on.
Yeah, that I built and then crashed on it. It just fully fucked me up. So that sort of put like a damper on the start of the year.
Yeah.
And then I went to the Thredbo National, which was in February, and my back was still pretty sore. And at the time I didn't know that I'd broken anything. I was just told that I'd hurt it or muscle strain. And I had another crash, like just another over the bars in Thredbo. And did the same thing, like straight to my head, broke my neck brace, and like instantly felt the same pain, like the most pain. What? Maybe not the most pain, but up there with the worst pain I've been in, and just like really uncomfortable. And so I went back home. I missed the race, and I just healed up for 3 months. I got another checkup, but they were just like, "Oh no, it's just muscular, like blah blah blah."
Yeah.
And then I think I must have sat most of that year out, and I just sort of like never really got comfortable on that bike. Even though it looked sick and everything looked dialed, like I should be able to ride it good, it was slack and all that. Yeah, I never felt real comfortable. And then leading into that next year, I was still on Giant. And actually coming into the end of 2015, I went and saw Will down in Adelaide.
Yep.
And caught up with him for a week, and I bumped into Connor Fearon.
Oh, yeah.
Had dinner or something, and Connor and I had known each other for a while, and he jokingly said to me, like, you should come over and race some World Cups, because he was riding for Kona at the time, and Matty DePel was running the Kona team, obviously. And it sort of crossed my mind, but I was just like, fuck, I had, like, my thumb was really bad, had no ligament in my thumb, and one of my knees had no ACL, and I was just like, it's just too much, like, my body's not ready. And then the Nationals rolled through, and the start of 2016, Matty came out to Bright, which is where we held our national champs in March.
Yep.
And he said to me, like, this year, do you want to come overseas and do some World Cups and just ride beside Connor and be his teammate, because he had no one else to ride with, sort of. And I sort of said to Matty, I was like, oh, we'll just see how I go this weekend. Like, I'll let my result this weekend decide on if I come racing again or not. And I was still on that Giant Glory, and somehow I managed to do quite well. Ended up third behind Troy and Connor.
Yeah.
And that sort of just made my mind up and made the decision for me. So I gave my bikes back to Giant, and I decided to do the Cairns World Cup, which was like 2 weeks later or a month later or something like that. I had no entry, I had no UCI points, and I was still Matty was trying to get me a Kona to get on.
Yeah.
So I rang, a couple of weeks later, I rang the Cycling Australia, and I said, I just asked him if I could get a wild card. Apparently they were allocating 3 wild cards.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, who are you, and what results?
Who are you?
Yeah.
Typical.
And I was like, oh, this is my name, and I got third at national champs, and they were like, oh shit, righto. And then they said, oh, I'll call you back. So they called me back a couple of hours later, and they've given out the 2 wild cards to 2 of the riders, whoever they were. Might have been Newley or someone like that. Yep. And then the third one, they hadn't notified the third rider that he'd made the selection to be the 3rd wild card for the Cairns race.
Oh, so you stole his spot.
Yeah.
But what? Just because you asked so late that they didn't give it to you already?
No, well, because I hadn't even asked. Like, you were supposed to do the application form and everything, and I hadn't worried about it.
It's quite a process for some of this.
Yeah.
It's a lot of paperwork quite often with the cycling federations for no real reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was my result succeeded old mate's result or whatever, so I was more inclined to get the Aussie jersey and get the wildcard entry.
Yep.
So that worked out mint. And then Matty got me one of Connor's old bikes up to Coffs, like a week or so before I flew out. So I got to ride the soft bike. Yeah. And it was actually sick because it wasn't new. Like, it'd been ridden in, everything is like settled, and I'd never get real comfortable on a bike. Like, it always takes me a while, but this thing, I was like really comfortable on it from like the get-go. And it felt similar to my Giant, I guess, because it's sort of like a similar geometry and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just felt like I was absolutely hauling ass on it at my local track. And then, a few days later, we flew out up to Cairns, and I just stayed with Maddie and Connor and Shelley and the whole Kona crew.
Yeah.
And it was dry. I wasn't looking forward to Cairns. Coming into it, I was like, oh, it's going to be wet. It's going to be a shit track again. I'm going to fucking crash my brains out again.
Yeah.
And we get there, and I'm in like B practice.
B practice. So you have to get up early in the morning.
Yeah. But like real early, hey.
Yeah.
And the weekend just sort of like the whole race just came to me. Like, it was just like another weekend racing, but I don't know. We just ended up doing real good. Yeah.
And you're just, I think you're sleeping on the floor at their place.
Yeah, I had a blow-up mattress. I got that because my auntie lives up there, so I pinched a blow-up mattress from her and slept on the floor of the apartment. And it was just like everything sort of fell into place. Like, maybe because I was in B practice, I felt like I was like one of the faster ones in B practice, and that like I might have got a bit of confidence out of that. Where usually I'm watching like the top dogs go through a section and I'm just shitting myself because I think they're way faster than me, but I'm just sort of like not trusting myself or something. I don't know.
It's quite easy to do that when you watch them because you're like, I can't go that fast. But when you watch everyone, they're probably going about the same.
Yeah, and that was one thing I always did. I would watch people and I'd be like, there's no way I could match that speed, but like a lot of the time you'd be doing that, maybe even quicker. Like.
Yeah, and you had a good qualifier as well.
Yeah, so I put down like a normal qualifier, had a bit of a dig, and I was I think I was 13th.
13th.
Yeah, and like my whole career, I've never been able to qualify good. Like if I qualify good, like then I'm gonna go. Like then I can always go like 5 to 10 seconds quicker. Like I don't know what it is, but I just like never laid on the line when in quali for some reason.
Yeah.
So I've never like rarely able to get qualifying points.
So even there, your qualifier, you still kind of took it easy.
Yeah, like 13th, I was like surprised myself because I'm like, fuck, like if I can do that in qualifying, then I can definitely lay one down in a race.
And then what did you expect? Like after that qualifier, were you like, I can do this, or?
I was just like top 10. Like I thought if I stayed on, I was like I could easily beat 3 people in front of me. Like no worries.
Yeah.
And it's kind of bizarre how it all worked out. But I don't know if you remember like the whole Legionnaire hat thing.
Yeah, the hat. Yeah.
It was like the year of the Legionnaire's hat, and I was rocking one for Giant for ages, and we were all wearing them, and they were pretty cool. And I feel like we went back after practice. After morning practice on the race day, we went back to the hotel, Connor and I, and we had some food and had a sleep or whatever. And as we left to ride back to the track, I grabbed my helmet bag, and there was my Legionnaire's hat sitting there. And I just like had this vision in my head, like imagine wearing that hat on the podium.
Bullshit.
I swear to God. So I got my helmet bag, and I was just about to leave, and I look back and I look at this hat, and I just had this like a flash of that thought, how good it would be.
Yeah.
So I grabbed a hat and I chucked it on, and then I rode to the track, and then like 2 hours later, I was wearing it on the podium.
Oh,
yeah,
so it would have been pretty surreal to sit there in the hot seat for that long and watch rider after rider not be able to beat your time.
Yeah, it was like for the whole however many years I've been racing, I remember like coming across the line and always looking at the guy in the hot seat and just like knowing that I could do way better than I did.
Yeah.
And like that should be me sort of thing.
Yeah.
And this was the first proper time where I've sat there for long enough just thinking like, fuck yeah, this is like where I belong.
Yeah.
Or where I felt
Sick. And then you ended up 5th, which put you on the podium. Would have been a bit of a pretty surreal and pretty like a dream for you.
Yeah,
in Australia at home really too.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I remember like as soon as Stevie got a flat or something, I was sort of like, it didn't really hit me. I was just so focused on the whole event, and I remember hearing like all the boys, like all the Banzacks and all that crew, just like going absolutely nuts because they've obviously pieced it together that
you're on the
I can
podium.
get a few seconds like to figure it out.
Yeah.
It was unreal. It was, still today the best day of my life for sure.
Sick. And you celebrated well that night, I hope.
Yeah, I did. But it was like, it's pretty exhausting, like with everything, like the interviews.
It's tiring.
And, like, all the social media and everyone ringing you. Like, I was so flogged. I had a couple of beers at the hotel and we fucked around there for a couple of hours and then went out to where did we go? The backpackers, I can't remember what it's called.
Gilligan's.
Yeah, Gillies. Went out to Gillies and everyone was just like on a level.
Yeah.
And we finally got to like relax once I was out there.
Yeah.
Had drinks and stayed out until the early hours of the morning.
Yeah. Shit. And then did you were still working then or what?
Yeah, I was still working.
So you had to fly back to work.
Yeah, I flew out the Monday morning, like so hungover and like an hour's sleep, and I felt myself like starting to get sick because I was just super run down and exhausted.
Yeah.
And yeah, I went back to work on the Tuesday, and I think we had a month, and that was sort of when I decided that I'm going to come over and do a few more races. But yeah, I think we had a month until Fort Bill.
Yeah.
Fort Bill in June maybe. So yeah, that was I still worked the whole way through, but I tried to get some riding in. But I was also sick, and I couldn't shake this sickness, and that was sort of when things started just like going pear.
Yeah. But you probably wouldn't change it for the world when you got that one day in Cairns, eh?
That was, yeah, seriously. Like I couldn't even imagine how it would feel to win one, but that for me would definitely felt like a win.
Yeah. Sick.
Pretty incredible.
Then you did a season of racing that year. After that, you went to Fort William and did the other European races.
No, well that year I had that month before Fort Bill, and I ended up deciding to come over and do some racing, and flew over to Fort William, got on a new bike, a new Kona, and straight into like the gnarly, what you call I guess like a European or that sort of the world track, overseas track. And I just couldn't get comfortable again, or just a bit too much pressure on myself, and ended up like having a bit of a mechanical, and then had a massive crash in my qualifying, and that's when I dislocated my hip.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So then that was, that put me in the local hospital for fucking felt like forever, but that was like 6 weeks in a hospital bed in.
Whereabouts was that? In Scotland somewhere?
They drove me up to
Inverness.
Inverness, that's it. Yeah, and I spent 6 weeks like literally strapped to a hospital bed in traction, and for some the doctor thought that I needed to spend 6 weeks like in my blood with my left leg in traction. Yeah, so that was like just from like the biggest high of Cairns, and then just to like probably like the toughest time of my life for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly how bad the highs and lows are in the sport, really. Like, it's the biggest high to the biggest low the next race, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty shit. And then the whole, like, the World Cup's moved on to Leogang the next week, so everyone had to move out. Like, everyone had to keep going, so the team had to leave, and then... Yeah, it was like 6 weeks later. They might have almost been heading over to Canada to do those rounds, and a few people messaging me like, "How you going, man?" And I'm just like, "Good, I'm still in Inverness." They've already travelled like
all these countries. Yeah. Shit. And there was no one to come see you or anything.
Nah, I told I didn't want my parents to come over. I was just gonna figure it out. But Mum ended up flying over, thankfully, like a day later.
Yeah.
So she got there, and there was no way I could have done all the paperwork and all the shit you have to go to try insurance to get you home is pretty full on. So she figured all that out, and thankfully, and 6 weeks later, I finally got a flight.
Shit, you would have been pretty happy to leave Scotland at that point.
I was so happy. It was the best thing.
Yeah. And then after that, you were kind of like, that's enough of that, or what?
Oh, then I my mate actually did a GoFundMe because he knew that I was like busting my ass and didn't have much money and stuff, and it was sort of like a year to try and, after Cairns, it was like a year to try and get over there and see if I can get a deal going for the following year. So he did a GoFundMe that I didn't know about, and I think it was the day that I crashed, he was gonna like release it to me. It was like $3,000, and it was like to say like good luck for the year, to help, take the stress off you, take the pressure off you financially.
Yeah.
And it was the day I ate shit and did my hit, and then that money turned out to be like a blessing, because that was sort of the money that once I was recovered, to get me back over there, just to see, like, just to prove to everyone that I can sort of still be there.
Yeah, and not have to fund it all yourself. And
so So I think everyone that donated was happy with that, and I came home. I did my 3 months recovery, and then I flew back over. I still made World's team, which was like pretty gnarly because I was in Val d'Isole, and everyone wanted Sam to race, and I had the last spot, but I emailed Sam and I was like, mate, you have this spot. Like,
Yeah.
I'm probably going to be like a top 40 guy at best.
Yeah.
So I fully offered it to him, and he's like, nah, mate, these opportunities don't come very often. You take it, you deserve it.
Sure, he's a good guy then, no?
Yeah, he's such a legend, man.
Yeah.
So, so I ended up going, and I did the Andorra race the week before and ended up like 60th or something, 50th.
Yeah.
Which is sort of like shit, but so what else do you expect, like, after a bit of a struggle? And then Val d'Isole Worlds, I was just riding pretty scared still, obviously, and I ended up like 36th or something.
Yeah.
38th maybe, I can't remember.
But for the whole year, that's probably, you got down the hill and got a result, you know?
Yeah, that's it. I didn't...
Like, looking back now, it's probably not a bad result considering what happened, though.
Yeah, that's it.
At the time, it would have been shit, but...
Just good to be able to get down. After Cairns, like, it's sort of hard, like, you know what you can do, and you get like a 38th. It's pretty hard to take, I guess.
Yeah, it was kind of the same for me when I won the Rotorua WS, and then after that, nothing's good, you know?
Yeah.
So you just put way too much pressure on after that, and then it makes it harder.
End up going backwards,
it's a tough game, really. We're still, you know, we're been in it this long and still trying to figure it out.
We're slow learners.
Yeah, must be, the boys at the back of the class, Yeah. So after that, then you were happy to keep racing, or how did it work out?
After I got back from Worlds, that was when I was like, fuck it, I need to get my body right. Like, I still had that thumb injury from 2009, so I decided to get a Rico on my thumb, and that was going to help me with my grip strength, obviously. And one of my knees was still like pretty shit, but I was just going to try and get another year out of it with no ACL. And I started training. I was riding really, really good, and I just planned to do the whole season again in 2017. And then we had our national champs in March, and it ended up 5th behind like Troy, Connor, Jack, Dean, and myself. So it was like 4 really good riders, and I was right there with them. So I was pretty happy with that.
Yep.
And a week after that, it was 2 weeks after national champs, I was going to fly out and get over there early.
Yep.
And a week after national champs, I was stepping out of my excavator, and no. I think I did that at the gym, but I told my insurance I did it at work. Yeah,
of course. Yeah.
I did it at the gym, just squatting, and I ended up tearing my meniscus in the knee that I had no ACL in.
Oh.
And it was like a bucket handle tear, so it folded over and couldn't straighten my leg. And that was a week before I flew out overseas. So I was just like another fucking kick in the teeth, and I was so bummed. And I decided to just get like a quick arthroscopy. So I went to Sydney and got it cut out, and then I flew out like 3 days later and went straight to Fort Bill.
Yep.
And I just had to sit that race out and let it heal and just watch everyone there. And then the week later in Leo Gang, I started racing, but I was just like never, just like sort of
straight off the surgery too. It's gnarly.
Shit start to the year, and it just sort of like played on my mind.
Yeah. But
I remember at Leo Gang, I think Eddie qualified really good there.
Yeah.
Like maybe top 5 or top 10.
Yeah.
And I remember I put a video up because I made it past the first turn, and I crashed on the over the road. It was like, I guess, the second turn.
Oh yeah, that
like hit a bunting pole that like pulled my brake in.
Yeah.
Or something, And then I've just sort of got a bit sketchy over the road and like missed my line and end up sliding out. But one dude commented because he was like, "Well, at least you made it further than Eddie," because that was the year that Eddie like.
Yeah, he went off the first turn at Fort William, mate, like flying off.
Yeah, and he did it again at Lee again that year. So.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, at least you made it further than him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was sort of year I was just had a personal issues going on as well in the background, and
yeah,
I was just not real focused on my racing, and it was just a pretty average year. It was a lot of fun, like I had so much fun, but
yeah,
maybe too much fun.
Yeah, and then after that, you just came home and decide what to do next, or
yeah, I just I came home and ended up getting my knee fixed a few months later.
Right.
I finally got like a knee reco. That was the start of 2018, so that was most of that year pretty much out recovering with that.
Sure.
And then sold all my bikes and just sort of bought a moto, and once my knee was good I started riding that, and then a few years later I bought a mountain bike off Matty, just another Kona process like enduro bike.
Yeah.
And been sort of riding that and doing a few enduros.
Enjoying the switch to enduro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that last year actually, 2017, when I was in Whistler, I ended up doing that Whistler EWS.
Oh yeah.
And without any knowledge of like how to go about those races, we just sort of.
It's a tough one too.
Yeah. Like, we were just cruising around. We didn't even know where any of the racetracks were. We were just riding around on the day of practice, just thinking like just so unprepared.
Yeah.
But I ended up getting like 36th in that.
Yeah.
Which I was quite happy with. And maybe that sort of ignited something. I was like kind of pretty keen on. Just the whole event's pretty fun, I reckon. Yeah,
well, it's just that much more riding, and it's easier to train for because you just go riding. Whereas a downhill, you need a shuttle or a lift, someone to drive you. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it.
It's nice just to be able to just go out and ride as much as you can, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the whole even just finishing one is sort of like a sense of accomplishment because it's such a big day.
Well, especially some of those Whistler ones were. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that sort of got me interested in that, and then bought that trail bike. What was that? April last year.
Yep.
And I've been doing that ever since.
So the plan was to do some this year and then try and have a crack at it, or what's?
Yeah, well, I think more so just for because I'm competitive. Like I don't think my sights aren't like try and get a contract and try and make some money working and that anymore. It's just like I just want to go over there and beat as many people as I can and just have like a good time doing it.
Yeah. So,
and ride big tracks and ride with the boy, like with the crew again.
Yeah, it's pretty cool on the enduro that you can just ride around with your mates and do the practice like that, and it's a bit more social than the downhill because you don't really hang out with them. You just hang out with them after riding at downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enduro, you're out there for a long day and you're just chatting away.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. But it's good. Well, it's been a long road then, and pretty bumpy one as well with the injuries you've had.
Yeah.
That must be. But your body now is all pretty good, or everything's good?
Yeah, touch wood. Like my knees are good. My thumb's sweet. Touch wood. I'm pretty good at the moment.
Oh, it's good. Bloody good. Because it's pretty gnarly having those big injuries, eh?
Yeah, it's quite taxing on the mind and the body.
Yeah, I know from a couple of mine.
Yeah.
And then you're just trying to race through when you're like half good, telling yourself that you're good. It's the worst. Yeah,
that's so hard to do. It's a struggle.
Pretty impressive what some guys at the top do when they race through a season injured, you know.
Yeah.
I think Loris Vergier had a broken wrist all last year.
Far out.
Like broken scaphoid, and I think raced the whole season.
Jesus.
And still got on the overall podium, you know.
Yeah, they're just animals, eh? They can just switch it on.
Yeah, they got the right
Please.
mentally,
Yeah.
Stuff. But it's probably nice to have more stories to tell when you're an old man anyway. Yeah.
That's true.
Back in my day. Yeah. But yeah, it's been bloody good listening to your stories. So cheers for taking the time.
No worries, mate. Yeah, it's good to talk to you, and I'll hopefully go for a ride with you in Feb if I come to Queenstown.
Yeah, we'll go on a proper loop again.
Yeah, sweet. Sounds good.
We'll do the real loop this time. You missed the real loop last time. I was out there until like dark.
All right, sign me up.
Yeah, it's going to be an all-day epic.
Sweet.
All right, sweet. Thanks very much.
Take it easy, Wen. Talk to you soon.
Cheers, mate.
See you, mate.